The film opens on a home video playing on a television. A married couple, Elize and Marcos Matsunaga, happy in the frame. And in the same room, Elize is dragging her husband's body across the floor. She sits down, exhausted. She picks an empty shell casing up off the floor and wipes away the blood. She pulls a knife from its holder and runs her hand along it. Then her baby starts crying. She goes into the nursery, sets the knife on top of the cabinet, picks up her daughter, and comforts her. Marcina, the maid, comes into the house calling for her. Elize steps straight out of the nursery, still holding her daughter. Marcina asks about the suitcases she saw outside and where Marcos is. Elize hands the baby over, says she'll be a moment, goes back for the knife, and shuts herself in another room. That's where she packs what's left of her husband into the suitcases. She showers. She takes the suitcases into the elevator. The film has told you exactly what happened in about 4 minutes. What it spends the next 2 hours doing is telling you why, and refusing to let you land anywhere comfortable. 7 years earlier, Elize and Marcos are in bed together when his phone buzzes. She grabs it first. She doesn't want the moment interrupted. It buzzes again, and she reaches for it a second time. But this time, he tells her to hand it over. He answers. It's his wife. And while he's on the call, he passes Elize some money. She stays in bed, getting dressed, listening to him talk to the woman he's married to. That's the whole relationship in one shot. He takes the call, she takes the cash. Nobody has to explain anything. At the strip club, Elize tells a colleague she's had a bit too much to drink. Her phone won't stop buzzing. Marcos. Over and over. She's been ignoring him. She finishes a session with an older client named Mr. Alberto and steps out of the room. And Marcos is there, trying to make amends. He says he has a surprise. He takes her up to the 5th floor. There's a car waiting for her. She's overjoyed. He hands her the key and they climb in together. She tells him nobody has ever given her anything like this. He tells her he wants her to be his. Only his. What follows is the montage the film uses to sell you on them. Marcos filming Elize eating at a Japanese restaurant, then turning the camera on both of them. A helicopter, Tuscany, wine, then a hunting trip with his friends. They spot a deer. Elize takes aim while Marcos coaches her, and she hits it. The group tells her to finish it. She fires again. They string the deer up from a tree, and Elize volunteers to skin it herself. It was her kill, after all. And while she's working, Heitor sits down beside her. He mentions that Marcos told him she's a lawyer. Elize corrects him. She's still studying, but she already qualified as a nurse. Then he says their paths might have crossed before, and asks where she used to work. She goes very still inside. This isn't conversation. This is a check. Heitor says he only wants to know the woman who won his friend's heart. Marcos comes over, offers him a cigar, and asks how she's doing. Almost finished, she says. Heitor takes a photo of the two of them and captions it. Her first kill. One day, Marcos blindfolds her, takes her up in an elevator, and walks her into an empty unit. He stands her in the middle of the room, disappears for a second, and comes back with a snake, which he drapes around her neck. She pulls the blindfold off. It's a snake named Gigi. She strokes it and looks around the space, amazed. This is their new home, he tells her. He signed his divorce papers. He wants to marry her. He wants her to leave VIP class and start a new life. He gave her a car and told her he wanted her to be only his. Now he's giving her a house and asking her to give up the only income she controls. The film never says any of this out loud. It just keeps showing you the trade. Elize goes to see her family with a wedding invitation and an engagement ring. Her aunt is delighted. Then she hears her uncle's voice from somewhere in the house, and her aunt tries to settle her as her mother arrives. She greets everyone. She's about to show them the new car, and then she sees her stepfather, and she freezes completely. She immediately pulls another relative away from him. Later, she's slicing a pineapple in the kitchen when he walks up behind her to get water and stares at her. He passes again and remarks that she must have worked very hard for that car. She looks straight at him with total disgust while he drinks, then goes back to slicing and eating. Then he tries something, and she puts the knife on him, tells him that if she ever finds out he's touched any of the girls here, she will castrate him. She presses the blade to his throat. Her mother walks in, and her mother tells Elize she is no longer welcome in that house, that she won't let her ruin her marriage. Then she walks away. Elize goes out to her car and screams. This is the scene the entire film is standing on, not the murder, this one. A woman defends herself, and the person who should protect her chooses the man instead. That's the wound. Everything after it is Elize trying to build a family that will never do that to her. The wedding. Elize is talking with her aunt and Clarice, Marcos' cousin, when his parents join. His father, Takashi, greets her and calls her by the wrong name. He does it more than once across the film and never seems to notice. Then more guests arrive. Clarice proposes a toast and introduces Elize to a Mr. Alberto. Elize knows him instantly. He was a client at VIP class. She holds it together. Marcos comes over and notices her hands are cold. Then she looks across the room and sees Mr. Alberto watching her while he talks to Heitor. And several other men in that room she also recognizes. She drinks her wine. Her entire past is standing at her wedding, in formal wear, holding champagne, being introduced to her as strangers. Back home, Marcos carries her in and spins her around. He undresses, and while she's looking out the window, he presses a gun against her back and whispers that his collection is hers now too. She takes it from him. They spend the night together. 3 years before the crime, Elize's aunt visits. Marcos greets her, then says he can't stay. He's flying to Brazil. Elize is blindsided. He never mentioned it. He insists he told her in advance and suggests she's simply mistaken. She reminds him about the doctor's appointment tomorrow. He corrects her. It's her appointment. She's the one with the problem, not him. She asks when he'll be back. He says he'll let her know, maybe a few days, and he leaves. Her aunt is in the room staring at Gigi, visibly frightened when Elize finds her. It's their pet, Elize explains. The food delivery arrives. While they eat, her aunt notices the mounted deer head on the wall, and Elize tells her it was her first kill, which her aunt was not expecting from her niece at all. Her aunt asks how the fertility treatment is going, 3 months in. At the hospital, the doctor asks about her husband's test results. Elize says she wants to proceed without them. She takes another test. Negative. He told her she's the one with the issue. He has never been tested, and she is protecting that for him. At the pool, Elize notices Heitor showing Marcos something on his phone from across the water. She swims over, and Marcos quickly says it's the latest Cuban cigars. Then Bianca arrives and calls Heitor over, and Elize recognizes her immediately from VIP class. She acts like they've never met. Later, Elize is standing at a bathroom sink, staring at nothing with the tap running. Bianca comes in and turns it off. Elize asks anxiously whether Heitor knows anything about her past. Bianca tells her he doesn't know a thing. Elize confides that she and Marcos are trying for a baby. Bianca encourages her and leaves. That night, Elize tells Marcos she's worried Heitor's knowledge could reach his parents, and Marcos tells her the fertility treatment is making her neurotic. The wine spills while he says it. He adds that since she gave up her old habits, she's become paranoid. She's stunned. He goes to the bathroom and his laptop chimes. She tries the password and fails. She hears him coming and gets back into bed. He tells her to clean up the spilled wine. Then he opens the laptop to answer an email, and she watches him type the password. To keep him from suspecting anything, she kisses him and says something encouraging. Later, while he's asleep, she opens it. He's still on the VIP class site. His most recent visit was the day before. And he's been leaving reviews on women, many of them. She scrolls and scrolls, and the number keeps going. She closes the laptop. She stays awake the rest of the night. The next morning, she gets into the pool and screams underwater. She surfaces. Marcos is standing at the edge, asking what she's doing. She climbs out. He asks if she's lost her mind. She tells him she read everything. He asks what she means. She starts listing what she found. They're still arguing in the hallway when she suddenly vomits. She's pregnant. Time passes. She gives birth. Marcos rocks their daughter and sings to her. Then one day, Elize is walking to the nursery with a bottle of formula and sees a suitcase sitting outside the door. He hands her the baby and says he has work in Curitiba. She accuses him of cheating. He denies it and tells her she should see a psychiatrist. She says she isn't crazy. He says, then stop acting like it. The baby is crying. She goes to comfort her. Clarice visits, expecting Marcos to be home. Elize's phone rings. It's him, and she hands the phone straight to Clarice so he can confirm that she really is there. Once he's satisfied, he says he'll be home tomorrow instead. Meeting delayed. Elize passes the baby to Marcinha. Clarice asks what's wrong. Elize says she's afraid of losing Marcos. Clarice asks why, and Elize tells her about her father, who left them, and her stepfather, who abused her from the age of 12 to 15. Clarice holds her. Elize says she doesn't want her daughter growing up without a father, and she will not let this family fall apart. Clarice tells her it won't come to that. Everything she does from here comes out of that sentence. That night, she wakes, expecting him beside her, and finds a text sent 4 hours earlier. Flight canceled. Don't wait up. She gets up, calls out for him, and hears snoring. He's asleep on the couch. She tells him to come to bed. He refuses and murmurs that he loves her. She kisses his forehead and takes his glasses off. Then she picks his wallet up off the floor and finds a condom inside. She smells his clothes. She slides his phone out of his pocket and unlocks it with his own fingerprint. And there are the messages. Him and a woman from VIP class named Danielle. The next morning, he comes to her for sex. She says she's tired. And he says she didn't get tired back when she was handling multiple clients all night. She asks him what he just said. He lists it out. She has a maid, credit cards, a house, a car. What more does she want? She can't even please the husband who pays for all of it. She says she doesn't want to fight. He asks if she wants him to pay her, and he starts throwing cash at her. She tells him she's his wife, not a hooker. She's the mother of his daughter. He says that's the problem. She asks if he's going to abandon her. He promised her that what happened to his ex-wife would never happen to her. And the first chance he got, he became exactly the same man. He tells her she's hysterical. He says he wouldn't leave his daughter in her care. He tells her to see a doctor, and he calls her a crazy bitch. Then she finds it, in his documents, a brochure for a psychiatric clinic, with the room rental prices tucked inside. That evening, Elize gets ready, sets up a meeting with Danielle, pretending to be a new client, and goes to the bar. She finds her in the crowd from her photo. She walks up, orders a drink, acts like a stranger. Danielle orders the same. Elize asks if she's celebrating. Danielle says she's trying to cheer herself up. A client didn't show and won't answer his phone. Elize says there are plenty of clients here. Danielle asks if she's new. More or less, Elize says. She used to come here, then stopped for a while and went exclusive. Danielle says that's her fantasy. Elize says it isn't difficult. Just avoid the married ones. Those men are tricky. Danielle says the married ones are exactly what she likes. And she has one. A prince. He told her he'd leave his wife for her. He's obsessed with her. He gives her gifts, takes her on trips, dinner at Japanese restaurants. He taught her about wine. Elize is listening to her own courtship read back to her by another woman. And then Danielle says she understands the situation. His wife is a bit out of her mind, and he's having her admitted to a psychiatric clinic next week. Elize hires a private detective. He follows Marcos and Danielle to a Japanese restaurant and photographs them. Elize is parked around the corner and signals him over. He shows her the pictures. He tells her they arrived in separate cars, and Danielle's car is the same model as Elize's, same color. He says her lawyer is going to love this. She tells him to send her everything. 18 hours after the crime, Elize takes the bags out of the lift and loads them into the back of the car. She drives out of the city on the highway. Marcina calls. The baby has a fever. Elize tells her to give her the medicine and asks if Marcos is home. He isn't. Elize says she'll call him. She's crying. She looks at her engagement ring. She stops on a dirt road and throws it as far as she can. Then, a police checkpoint. Routine check, they tell her. She hides the knife fast. The officer asks if she's nervous. She says no, she just needs to get home. Her baby has a high fever. She asks him to let her through. He wants license and registration anyway. He runs the plate and comes back. Her registration is expired. He tells her to have her husband sorted out, and he lets her go. She drives on and stops somewhere quiet. It's raining. She takes out the bags and disposes of the remains. Then she drives to a second location and leaves the head near a tree. 2 days later, Elize is with Marcos's family while they try to find him. His mother asks whether she remembers anything he said that might help, and Elize builds the story in front of them. She woke up and heard him moving his things around, a bag and a carry-on. We see the flashback, the bags going into a garbage collector, the knife into a nearby drum. Some shirts and pants, she says. She burned those that night. Cash, laptop, and his cell phone. She'd broken the phone. Someone in the room says he must have been kidnapped. There's no other possibility. It can't be coincidence that he vanished right before the sale of Yoki, the family's food company. His mother asks if he said anything else, and Elize tells them that he said he might not be back, that he leaned over the bed and kissed her forehead, that he said, "A man has to do what a man has to do." Then the police arrive. Chief Aquino explains they're distributing photos of Marcos and searching. Elize takes Cash out of the locker. She watches a news report. Fragments of a body found near São Paulo, inside a blue trash bag. She opens Marcos's laptop and sends an email from it. 9 days on, at the family gathering, everyone learns the police have found activity on Marcos's bank account. A large sum deposited at a branch in Vila Brasilândia. Elize notes it's by the church they always go to. They ask about the email. Marcos's father says it was sent from his laptop, and the police will trace the IP to find where he was when he sent it. Elize asks if that's something they can actually do. And Marcos's mother says it means he isn't kidnapped at all. He's fine. Elize built a living husband out of a bank deposit and an email, and it worked so well that the family relaxed. And it's the same trick that's about to bury her, because now the police are looking for a signal, and it's coming from her house. Then the news again. More fragments in blue bags, this time a hand and a head, a male victim of Japanese descent. Elize goes home and starts packing clothes. Marcinha comes to get her. It's about Marcos. On the news, the victim has been identified. His name was Marcos. The crime happened 16 days ago. The doorbell rings. Chief Aquino and his detectives want to search the house. She lets them in. They find the blue trash bags. They take her to the station. The interrogation. They show her lift footage from the last time Marcos was seen. She says it could be a mistake. He probably took the stairs. Aquino asks whether he did that often. It's a long way down. Then they show her the footage of her carrying the bags into the lift. She says it was nothing important, just wine. Aquino asks if it was heavy. She says they sold rare wines. He points out she came back hours later without the bags. Did she sell them too? She says she let the customer take them. He asks where the client is. São Paulo? No, she says, closer to Cotia. He asks the client's name. She says, sure, but she doesn't remember. She can check. Then Aquino tells her to think about her daughter. She wants to see her again, doesn't she? She asks if he's threatening her. He says he's trying to help. She asks, by taking a daughter away from her mother? And then she says it. Marcos was just like you. He wanted to take her away too. She starts crying. She says she always loved him. He promised he'd be different. Aquino tells her to confess. And the film takes us to the day of the crime. Elize is outside her aunt's home with her aunt, who tells her to control her anger and drop this crazy idea of divorce. Then her lawyer calls. There's a real risk the court will award custody to Marcos. He comes from an influential family. Elize has a history in prostitution. Elize asks about the photos. The lawyer says adultery doesn't affect a custody decision, and alimony will be proportional to his income, and he's reported a low one. And in the middle of that call, Elize looks over and sees her stepfather playing with her daughter. She runs. She shoves him off and starts fighting him. She says she will not let him touch another little girl. Not ever again. Her aunt drives them to the airport. Elize says Marcos will pick them up. That night, he brings them home. She asks what's wrong. Nothing, he says. She points out the flight was delayed, and it isn't her fault. Marcinha asks if she should put the baby to bed. Not yet, Elize says, and asks Marcos if he doesn't want to play with his daughter. He says he has calls to make. Marcinha takes the baby to her room. Elize asks if his job really needs him at this hour. Then the intercom buzzes. Pizza delivery. Marcos tells her to go down and get it. She says, why doesn't he go himself and make his little calls while he's at it? He sighs. She says she's been looking after his daughter all weekend and she's too tired. He says, great, let the pizza get cold. She says, great idea, cold pizza. He nods and keeps typing. And then she asks him, what have I done? Tell me, before I lose my mind completely. He tells her she can't just be happy. He gives her the moon. What more does she need? And she shouts it at him. You. Here. The only thing I'm missing is you. He says he has to work. It's his company. And she cuts straight to the bone. It's his father's company. Everyone knows he slacks off. His brother does the actual work, and he shouldn't take it out on her because his father doesn't love him. He tells her to shut up and goes down for the pizza. Marcina comes back and asks if Elize wants her to stay the night and help. Elize tells her no, she can go. She says she'll be back early in the morning and leaves. Marcos comes back with the pizza in his hands. Elize is playing the detective's footage on the television. He asks what this is. She says it's him and his whore on the TV. He asks if she followed him. She says no. She hired a detective, which he paid for. She tells him she isn't the one who can't be happy. He's the one who can't live like a normal person. And then she says the thing she can't get past. You gave her the same car, same model, even the same color. You took her to the same restaurant. They fight. He slaps her. She says she wants a divorce. She takes a gun out of the drawer and moves toward him. He says he'll take his daughter away from her, and she points it at him. He laughs. He tells her she doesn't have the guts. Put it down. And then he says the worst thing anyone in this film says. He tells her that her stepfather was right about her, that she's been a whore since she was a child. She shoots him. She calls emergency services and hangs up without saying anything. She watches their old videos. She sits down beside him. And then she starts cutting him up. The next morning, Elize has locked herself in the room packing the parts when Marcina comes downstairs and says the baby is hungry. Elize tells her to leave her in the crib. She'll be right there. Then she asks Marcina to go do the grocery shopping. And she comes out and feeds her daughter. That was the confession. All of it. She's arrested. We see her in her cell, writing a letter to her daughter. She says there are things she'll never understand, and other things Elize will tell her one day. But only her. Then the film tells you it was all real. In 2016, Elize was found guilty of murder. In 2019, the court sentenced her to 16 years and 3 months. Given her confession and the 10 years she'd served, she's been on parole since 2022. Marcos's family moved to remove Elize's surname from her child and cut every tie with her. Elize has never seen her daughter again, not even in photographs. I would give it a rating of 8.5 out of 10, a true crime story that refuses to give you a comfortable place to stand. It shows you exactly how she got there, and it never once tells you it was justified. That's Elize, Shadows of a Woman. If this is your kind of content, like, subscribe, and join me. One story at a time. See you on the next one.